السلام عليكم. أهلا بكم في معهد دمشق.
Assalamu alaikum. كيف حالكم? How are you all? لعلكم بخير. I hope you're all well. So today we'll be learning about derived forms of the verb. So هيا بنا إلى الدرس. Let's go to the lesson. While Arabic is not rich in the tenses because we have only two tenses, which is the present and the past, and it makes up with its system of the verb patterns or the forms. All of the verbs that were covered in the previous videos have been the basic or the root form of the verb. The Arabic language plays with this root and add subtle variations to the meaning. If you look at the groups of the words in English, you can see they have different but connected meanings. Look at this: liquidate, liquefy, liquidize, validate, value, revalue. By adding different endings and prefixes, the meaning is slightly changed. For example, as a native speaker, you recognize that the prefix re means to do something again. Arabic takes this principle much further with many different patterns that add meaning to the original root form. These derived forms are the major way in which Arabic achieves its richness of vocabulary. Look at the following examples. All derived from the same root. All derived from the same root. Look here. Qatalu, they killed. Qattalu, they massacred, killed intensely, adding the intensity to the verb. Qatalu, they battled or tried to kill. Taqatalu, they fought with each other. So all these different forms of the same root, qatala, the verb ending associated with they in the past, u stays the same, but different letters that have been added between and before the root to add to the original meaning. There are 8 significant derived forms. Some others exist but are only seen in poetry or old texts. Western scholars of Arabic refer to the forms by Latin numbers: Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, etc. However, native speakers will not be familiar with this. They will know them by the present tense of the pattern using the root fa'ala. See the first video. For example, the verb qatalu, they battled, shown in the examples earlier, would be referred to as Form 3 by the Arabists, but as pattern yufa'il by native speakers and Arab grammarians. In the following videos, we will refer to the forms by their numbers with the fa'al pattern in brackets. Most of the forms are connected with certain meanings, such as trying to do something, doing something together, although sometimes these meanings have strayed over time or have been adopted for a new concept. All the derived forms do not exist for all roots, but most roots have at least one or two forms in general circulation. You will need to look in a dictionary under the root to know exactly which forms exist. In addition, Arabic speakers will sometimes make up new verbs from existing roots, either as a joke or in an effort to be creative or poetic. Although the derived forms can first seem complicated, they are in fact a useful aid for the learner. If you recognize a derived pattern and know another word with the same root, you can often take a good guess at the meaning even you have never seen the particular word before. The next 3 videos will show you the derived patterns and the meanings connected with them, as well as any differences in how the irregular verbs behave in these forms. So now we'll take the derived forms 2 to 4. ثاني, ثانية to أربع, 2 to 4. اثنين to أربع, إلى أربع. The first of the 3 main groups of derived form is made of the forms yufa'il, يفاعل, and يفعل. So here are some characteristics. The past tense. Form 2 is made by doubling the second root letter of the basic verb fa'ala or fa'ala. Form 3 is made by adding a long a after the second root letter. Fa'ala becomes fa'ala. Form 4 is formed by adding an alif before the first root letter and a sakoon. Fa'ala becomes af'ala. Now in the present tense. In the present tense, there are three forms having a dhamma, u sound, as the first vowel and a kathra as the last. So form 2 and 3 have fatha over the first root letter. Form 4 has a sakoon over the first root letter. So in the past tense, yufa'il, yufa'il, yuf'il. It is worth noting that form 2, 3, 4 are the only verb forms that have dhamma as the opening vowel. Now we'll have some common meaning patterns. Form 2 and 4 have the meaning of carrying out an action to someone or something else, making a verb transitive or causative. For example, yadrusu means to study, but the verb to yudarrisu means to teach. Yaskhun means to become hot, but yusakhin means to heat, to give heat. So yadrusu means to study, yudarrisu means to give study, which is teaching, to give ilm. Yaskhun means to heat, and yusakhin means to give heat. Yakhruj means to go out. Yukharriju means to remove something outwards. For example, to remove, to eject, it's yukharrij. Sometimes a root can put forms 2 and 4 with the same or almost the same meaning. You should watch for the subtle differences. For example, ya'lam means to know. Yu'allim means to give out the knowledge, which is to teaching. Yu'allim. And yu'lim means to inform, to give information, but slightly, to inform. Form 2 can also give a verb the meaning of doing something intensively or repeatedly. For example, yaqtul means to kill, yuqattil means to massacre, to go out intensely to kill everyone. Yaksar means to break, and yukassir means to smash, to completely break something. Form 3 often carries the meaning of doing something with someone else. For example, yajlis means to sit, yujalis means to sit with someone. Ya'mal means to do something, but yu'amil means to treat or deal with someone. Someone is attached with you. Form 3 can also carry the meaning of trying to do something. For example, yaqtul means to kill, yuqatil means to battle, to try to kill. It's an attempt to kill. Yasbiq means to come before or preceding. Yusabiq means to race, to try to come before, to try to come first. The verb to try itself is a form 3 verb. Yuhavil, havale, yuhavil. It itself is trying to teach us that it's a form 3 verb. And here's a table showing the past and present tenses for these 3 verb forms with some example sentences. So first we'll learn these 3 forms. So first we have daras, darrasa, yudarrisu. Then we have sabaka, yusabiku. And then we have alama, yu'alim. So darrasa, yudarrisu. Ana darrastu, anta darrasta, anti darrasti, huwa darrasa, hiya darrasat. Ana سابقت أنت سابقت أنت سابقت هو سابق هي سابقت هي سبقت هي سبقت أنا علمت أنت علمت أنت علمت هو علم هي علمت نحن درسنا أنتم درستم أنتن درستن هم درسوا هن درسنا نحن سابقنا أنتم سبقتم أنتن سبقتن هم سبقوا هن سبقنا نحن علمنا أنتم علمتم أنتن علمتن هم علموا هن علمنا. And now we'll move towards the present form of these verbs. So first we have أنا أدرس أنت أنا أدرس أنت تدرس أنت تدرسين هو يدرس هي تدرس أنا أسابق أنت تسابق أنت تسابقين هو يسابق هي تسابق أنا أعلم أنت تعلم أنت تعلمين هو يعلم هي تعلم. نحن ندرس أنتم تدرسون أنتن تدرسن هم يدرسون هن يدرسن نحن نسابق أنتم تسابقون أنتن تسابقن هم يسابقون هن يسابقن نحن نعلم أنتم تعلمون أنتن تعلمن هم يعلمون هن يعلمن. So now we'll move towards some sentences. صيد السمك يعلم الصبر. Fishing teaches us, or hunting fish teaches us patience. الصبر means patience. سنحاول اليوم أن نذهب إلى النهر. We will try to go to the river today. الشمس القوية سخنت الماء. The hot sun has warmed the water. العمال أخرجوا الزبالة. The workers have removed the garbage. حملنا الملف من الإنترنت أمس. We downloaded the file from the internet yesterday. So now we'll do the irregular verbs in form 2 and 4. اثنين وأربع. Verbs that are irregular in the basic form often also show irregularities in the derived forms. You should still try to apply the basic rules for the different types of irregular verbs. For example, there are weak verbs, there are double verbs, there are verbs with hamza as the root letter. See the previous videos from 1 to 4. Note that in general, if a form requires doubling a root letter or separating a root letter with a long vowel, then a basic verb with a doubled or weak root letter will often behave perfectly regularly when put into these patterns. Here are some notes about how irregular verbs behave in form 2 and 4, followed by a summary table. So first we have doubled verbs. They behave as a regular verb in form 2. Doubling the middle root letter means the second and the third root letter of a doubled verb are always written separately. Doubled verbs in form 2 and 4 follow same rule as for the basic doubled verb. Form 4 doubled verbs are much more common than form 3. Now verbs with hamza as the root letter. Verbs with hamza behave roughly as regular verbs, but see rules about the spelling on the previous videos. Note the particular rule about writing two hamzas carried by alif together as madda. This rule means the past tense of form 3 and 4 starts with this combination when hamza is the first root letter. When hamza is the middle second root letter, you may see it by itself on the line in form 3 because it follows a long vowel. And now we have weak verbs. Weak verbs with va or ya as the first or second root letter behave as regular verbs in form 2 and 3. Assimilated verbs in form 4 have a long u vowel at the beginning of the present verbs. Hollow verbs in form 4 behave as they do in the basic pattern. They follow a short vowel in the middle. If the third root letter has a sukoon over it, this is the short vowel connected to a derived pattern and not to the original root. For example, I wanted aradtu. The short vowel is fatha because form 4 past pattern is af'al. Arada yuridu. Aradtu. Verbs with vav or ya as the third root defective behave irregularly in all forms. Form 2, 3, 4 defective verbs all have the same ending as the yamshi, masha yamshi, basic group of verbs. So now we have a table of doubled verbs, verbs with hamza, weak verbs. So we'll do it one by one, form 2, 3 and 4 in these rows. So doubled verb, past and present. Raddada yuraddidu, dada yudad, ahabba yuhibbu. Verbs with hamza, assara yuassiru, akhada yuakhidu, amana yu'minu. And as second root letter in the past and present, no verbs in common circulation. For the form 3, sa'ala yusa'il, as'ama yus'im, which means bore, getting bored. As third root letter in the past and present tense, hanna'a yuhanni, which means to congratulate, kafa'a yukafi, which means to reward, ansha'a yunshiu, which means founded. Weak verbs. In the past we have yassara, wassala, and we have wafaka, yuwafiq, and we have awsala, yusil, connected. Hollow, we have khawwafa, yukhawwif, frightened. Navala yunawil, hand over. Arada yuridu, want. Rabba yurabbi, which means to breed or raise. Laka yulaqi, meet with. Ata yuti, to give. So here is the summary of the verbs 2 and 4. Form 2 verbs that are characterized by doubling of the second root letter yufa'il. Form 3 verbs are characterized by the long a vowel after the first root letter yufa'il. Form 4 verbs are characterized by the sukoon over the first root letter yuf'il. Form 2 and 4 are the only Arabic verbs to have a dhamma as the first vowel in the present. Yudarris, nuhawil. Form 2 and 4 are most often used with transitive or causative meaning, doing something or doing something with someone else. Form 3 is often used for mutual connections, doing something with someone else. However, there are many other possible meaning patterns as well. Verbs that are irregular in the basic form may also act irregularly in their derived forms too. For more information, always refer to the previous video as well to keep a connection of what is being communicated in the following videos. So moving forward, we'll do another forms. There are total 10 forms of the verbs, 10 forms of the verbs. So see you on the next lesson. Ma'as salam.